I want to turn it over to Jared Blikre now, who has his eye on some of the big names moving. And you've got your eye on those FAANG stocks, a fickle bunch they are, Jared.
Yeah, and today's price action is even more curious because we have the 10-year T-note yield, as you said, up 4 basis points. Usually we see tech flag, but not today under that environment. So let's go to the Wi-Fi Interactive and check out some of the action in our mega caps here. I'm going to go to Netflix in a second, but I just want to focus on some of the names here. Apple up over 2%, Microsoft and Alphabet almost up to 2.5%, Facebook up 2% as well. This is an intraday view. And when Frances Haugen was finally allowed to speak by the senators there in that hearing after about 25, 30 minutes, we got that big spike up here that you see. And we just kind of maintained around the current highs of the day. Also looking at Netflix here. Netflix at a record high of 5.5%. That is the biggest one-day jump since January. So big breakout there. I'm going to put a 2-year chart on a candlestick basis, and you can see we got to record highs as recently as September, and then now we're getting some continuation off of that after flagging sideways for so many months, almost an entire year there. So could get some continuation to the upside. And Cowen just completed its survey of 2,500 U.S. consumers, and Netflix came out #1, best content among video platforms. So here's a quote from the analyst note: the second half of 21 original content volume, it is accelerating and likely to drive higher engagement and potentially lower churn. They expect subscriber additions of 3.63 million for the third quarter, slightly above the company's for 3.5 million user additions. We know those key statistics, user additions, those have been sore spots on the presentation day for their earnings the last couple quarters. They're going to be reporting in 2 weeks from today on October 19th. We're going to be bringing that to you. And then also one final note here, Cowen is rating Netflix an outperform with a price target of $650. You can see it's just shy about $13 of that target right now.
All right, I want to get to Pepsi because stock's having a pretty nice day. Third quarter results beat on revenue. What else can you tell us?
Well, Brian Sozzi actually interviewed the CFO, Hugh Johnston, earlier today, and I'm going to get the Pepsi stock on our Wi-Fi Interactive. Here we go. We can see it's up 1%, not a huge move, but this is kind of par for the course with consumer staples. Here, we're still looking at a 2-year chart. I'm going to dial this down to a year to date, and I do have some analyst commentary from it. But first, I want to note that the big deal with PepsiCo was that at the behest of a number of requests by some of their shareholders, they released full-year guidance, something they usually don't do until February, but they did it a little bit early. And it's good news for the most part. They are facing some increased commodity prices, but they're able to pass those off onto consumers. And in fact, they're planning on raising prices next year as well. So here's what Wells Fargo is saying. They hold the stock, or they recommend the stock with an equal rate, price target of 160. They're saying that international strength drove the beat. Operating profit increased by less than sales, and that was because of pressures from inflation and supply chain. So a little bit of a negative there, but guidance for the year's organic sales were raised, but language only slightly revised on EPS. So organic sales is really where they're targeting right now. And Hugh Johnston was talking about this with Brian Sozzi earlier. He says that they want to focus on really increasing that while they have some momentum. And just once again, planning on increasing those prices early next year. So no relief for the consumer, but good pricing power for PepsiCo, Alexis.
For sure.